All right, guys, if you haven't seen our previous video, and welcome back to the Passive Money Podcast, if you haven't seen us before,
Yeah.
Alex Kirby. But so Kirby, what are your three financial mistakes? We just went over mine, and still got PTSD from it. But what do you got? What's
Uh,
going with you?
mine is straightforward. Three financial mistakes that I made. The one, and I hope I convey this right across to the audience is do not take financial advice from broke people. That is one of the financial mistakes that I made is if somebody's not doing it, if you don't see them doing it, don't listen to them. I mean, like going back to, my grandparents and things like that, save money, put money in CDs. Of course, back in the 70s and 80s there, that was, you got a decent interest rate, but they didn't know what they didn't know. But me as I studied, yeah, back in the 70s and 80s, it was a good move to go to CDs because you could get 5, 6, 7% risk-free money. But ever since the financial crisis has been 1% interest rate, which effectively losing money towards inflation. So the first one is taking financial advice from broke people. The second thing that financial mistake that I did was fake it till you make it. Fake it till you make it was the worst one. I mean, and it was my upbringing. When I was growing up, I didn't have much, and then I always saw people around me. No matter family relatives, they always act like they had more than they really did, or they wanted to project that they had money when they didn't. I remember growing up in Detroit, and my parents, had the image, and I'm not gonna say both of them, but anyway, my parents had the image that they had money. They had two cars. They had two cars, gold chains, gold rings, the whole nine. But we was living in a house full of roaches. So it was the whole trying to appease everybody else to make them think that you was better than what you was. So when I grew up, I thought that's what I had to do. I was in the military. We had a video about how much people in the military make little or nothing. But when I went around, people and family and relatives, I always had to make it look like, no, damn well I'm making maybe $1,000 a month. I had to make it look like I was making more than that, and it put me in worse financial situations. Um, so that was a huge mistake that I made financially. And then the third financial mistake that I made was buying a home. Buying that home that we talked about in one of our previous videos, buying a home back in 2007. The timing was wrong. The My financial situation was wrong. Like I've said previously, I now call out the Bank of America. They gave me a loan. I had a VA loan, but I had no source of income. But they didn't care back then in the wild wild west of 2006, 2007, 2008. You can get a home as long as you had a VA loan. I had no source of income, and they approved me for the loan, and I got the house. But buying it during the financial at the top of the financial crisis, buying it with no income, buying a house that was way too big because it was just me and my wife at the time. So why do we need a 3,000 square foot house? And then I didn't understand the home buying process. I didn't understand how getting a fixed rate doesn't mean that your mortgage payments will be fixed when you account for escrow. I remember we started out paying about 1050 a month in mortgage payments, but 3 years later we was up to like 13, $1,400 a month. That's because the subdivision we lived in built out. Property taxes in Texas is very high, and those was the three major mistakes that I did just financially. I got like 20,000 more if we start going to investments, but just starting out, that was like those are the biggest. Those were the ones that hurt me the worst out of all of them. The investing mistakes that I made, those was lessons, and I've improved from them, and it made me better. But those mistakes that I mentioned before are things that handicapped me and started my financial journey well in a big hole, $250,000 in debt, but it handicapped me for a while until I got out of that debt to move forward.
I have two things on that. So I didn't know the bank you used for that house was Bank of America. And I think it's interesting. And I think we talked about this in previous video, but you bought at the wrong time and you used a loan from Bank of America. But then the house you have now, you invested in Bank of America and used the profits to buy that house. I think it's just
Sure did.
it's so funny.
Sure did.
Um,
Yeah, and I mean it was crazy. Yeah, Bank of America gave me the loan when I didn't deserve the loan, and I shouldn't have had the loan. But I'm not sitting here blaming Bank of America because they gave me the loan. Me, I should have enough financial sense if I'm damn sure going to sign myself off to a loan that I should know what I should be able to afford. I'm not like the people that got crushed during the financial crisis and blamed it on the bank. I blame it 100% on me. But yeah, but then the financial crisis, I was able to pivot out of that house. Bank of America stock went sub $5, and I invested a lot in Bank of America, and then the stock appreciated, and then I bought this house. So, all in all, Bank of America is a good bank for me. And it all worked out in the end, so that was all good.
the other point was, I mean, I completely agree with you on that first point that you made. Be careful with who you take your advice from. I remember, when I was first starting to think differently on finance, I knew the people that were in my life. The majority of them were not the best financial role models. And I started asking questions and trying to be around people that were financially well. And not all of them were multimillionaires or investors or even knew anything about, say, real estate or heavily investing in the stock market, but they were just kind of like a Dave Ramsey kind of follow up. Like they were very responsible with their money. They knew where it was going. They had savings, they had retirement plans. Um, their houses were almost paid for. And I think that's where I started getting on that footpath of talking to people like that were doing, as you were saying, applying, what they were doing or what they were talking about to their lives. They were actually doing it. And, you know, from there leading to the next person that knew a little bit more, and then the next and the next, and then eventually, it's just like you said before. I think the quote is what, hang out with 5 millionaires and you'll become the sixth. So, and who you surround yourself with is very important.
Very, very important. And now I took that to heart. I heard that back in, I believe, 2010. Uh, your circle is going to determine your net worth. I didn't know any millionaires at the time. I probably knew one guy. He was faking like he was a millionaire, but I didn't have a personal relationship with any. So what I did was I surrounded myself with books of people that was millionaires that wrote books. So, the Robert Kiyosaki's, the Dave Ramsey's, you know, books that you talked about in a couple shorts. Think and Grow Rich, Millionaire Next Door, Richest Man in Babylon. I just kept immersing myself in those books, and I read them time and time again. So the books became my friend. So I was using what I learned in the books as my friend circle. I mean, even today, I don't travel around in circles, but I have people now that I could talk to that are, ultra wealthy, and I could get more to level up. But then I didn't. And so that the people that you hang around it will affect your network, no matter if it's friends or family. If you hang around your family members and they're all broke and you have money, you will be the next broke one. If they all rich, if you hang around your family and you got 5 family members that's rich, and you hang around them and start absorbing the information that they're providing, you'll become the sixth one. But most people don't have that dynamic. But that's why you have the internet. You can read. You have social media. All these big influencers, or not even influencers, but wealthy investors, the Ray Dalios, the Warren Buffetts, the Robert Kiyosaki's, they're out there giving out this information for free. It's what people want to spend their time with. They want to be entertained, or do they want to gain knowledge? The people that's out there gaining knowledge are the people that's making the money. like a video I sent you today. What it say? The A students work for the B students. The B student, the C students, the C students, the one that owns the business, and the D students are
Yeah.
the ones that they're commemorating buildings and colleges for. That's really what it is. You just find what you want to do and immerse yourself. If you don't have the friends, read, keep reading. And that will take you a long way. It'll get you to where you need to go. So you start moving the way that wealthy people are moving. And then you start moving the way wealthy people are moving, it will attract you to more people that's wealthier, that's at a place where you can meet them in person and they're willing to mentor you and give you guidance along the way. And trust me, people that have money is willing to give the information. They give it away every day on the internet, free every day. It's just so hard for people to absorb the information. I mean, like, let's say our channel, we're giving out free information, good information, and we're not, our subscriber growth is not where it should be based off the information we give them, because most people want to subscribe to people that they want to subscribe to stuff that will vacate their mind, put their mind on vacation so they can forget about the times that they're in. So that's why you all see the video game blogs and all that other stuff on YouTube. They have hundreds of thousands of millions of subscribers because people want to divorce themselves from the situation they're in instead of learning how to improve their situation. And that's just the way it is. And when we first met, I told you, going to this financial journey, it's a lonely road, because no matter how much information you learn and you think you could pass it off to people and they're going to absorb it like you are, you're going to find out that 99% of people won't absorb it, and it'll go into one ear and out the other, and they're in the same or worse position they was when you start giving them information.
Well, guys, if you like this video, smash the like button, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell. Share it with everybody that you know. Leave a comment down below if you got anything to let us know on this topic. With that being said, we'll see you guys in the next video.